The worst thing about that is.
Thanks, Bernard, for pointing out that that it's time to start the meeting. First order of business would be the minutes.
Motion to approve is presented on the minutes.
Motion by Sam to approve the minutes of the May 1st meeting. Is there a second?
Special meeting, please.
And the special.
And the special meeting, okay.
Excuse me.
I'll need a motion from somebody here, Jerry, probably, that you missed one of those meetings.
I'll say.
It's a second by Jeff Lear. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapproved? Motion will carry.
Okay, Jeff,
Jeff.
how did it work? Two motions?
No, motion was made by Sam and second by Jeff Lear.
To approve both.
To approve both minutes. Okay, next would be the bills and additional bills.
I see on here where we bought some lighting for Stephen Foster Drama. Is that going to be a payback?
That'd be reimbursable. That's the stairway lighting, wasn't it? Stairway lighting.
What you showed me?
Some of them.
You're missing some going up the
Correct, that is
steps?
correct. That's part of their inspection that was required to get CO.
You'll notice on there's some, the Wicklum repairs, $21,689. That's part of the insurance proceeds, and John will give a report on that later on. There's some blacktop money in the additional bills list of Cane Run Loop. Just look highlighting the big things.
Most of mine should be complete now.
And roadside, finishing the roadside cleanup. Good. We'll leave it roadside. Questions on bills and transfers? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion, pay the bills and transfers as presented.
Thank you, Bernard.
I'll second.
Second by Jeff Lear. Further discussion? All approved, say aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. Next would be, before we go into the public hearing for LGEA, I want to get my notes here, if I can find them, what I've done with them. Here it is. I want to read a proclamation. This is the May is Older Americans Month, and in particular, Mrs. Fox, Lena, has asked us to discuss, or at least to make awareness for the inactivity of elderly people in Nelson County. She's a registered nurse and also has participated and helped at the senior programs around the county. Whereas Nelson County, Kentucky includes countless older Americans who enrich and strengthen our community. Whereas Nelson County, Kentucky is committed to engaging and supporting older adults and their families and caregivers, and whereas we acknowledge the importance of taking part in activities that promote physical, mental, and emotional well-being no matter the age. And that's the important part that Ms. Fox wanted to stress. Whereas Nelson County can enrich the lives of individuals of every age by promoting home and community-based services that support independent living, involving older Americans in community planning, events, and other activities, and providing opportunities for older adults to work, volunteer, learn, lead, and mentor. Therefore, we of Nelson County do hereby proclaim May 2018 Older Americans Month. We urge residents to take time during this month to recognize older adults and the people who serve them as vital parts of our community. And I assure you that any of the seniors that want to be on any committee or any work activity, please send them my way, because we'll find something for them to do. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Anybody any questions? Yes, ma'am. You want to make a comment? Please. Sure, please.
I'm actually a registered nurse anesthetist and worked for 30
I couldn't say that last name.
That's okay. 30-some years in Lexington at the Federal Medical Center. Got retired and worked for a while at Bardstown and Home. Many of you are familiar with that organization. Went back to school to prove that even the elderly can learn, and am currently enrolled in Chamberlain College of Nursing as a family nurse practitioner. During these studies, I have found that in Nelson County, there's 6,049 seniors over 65. Of that number, for the last year, 29% of them report little or no activity and no exercise. Considering that inactivity is the number 4 cause of death worldwide, and activity can improve a myriad of conditions: pain, chronic conditions, obesity, diabetes. We have proven all of those are helped by moving around, activity, being involved. In Nelson County, it appears for some reason recliners have taken over of our elderly. They're the worst things I do believe that were ever invented. But we need to look at the times coming down the road. We all know the healthcare system is in a flux. We're going to see more and more problems with reimbursement, with insurance, with those kind of things. An inactivity costs us money. People who are inactive cost an annual $1,746 more a year in healthcare costs. So I'm asking this body of people who know Nelson County to keep this in mind and be thinking about ways that we can help our elderly become more involved, be more cost efficient, and utilize our resources better, because there are limited healthcare dollars. We all know that. I have made a list of things I would like for you all to take one and consider at your leisure if you think that they're viable. And I will, and Judge Watts knows how to get a hold of me, and I would be glad to work with any route that you also choose.
I found it very interesting. We had a long conversation there a month or two ago. Tell me a little bit about where you worked before the interesting place that you worked, if you don't mind sharing.
I worked at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington. It's run by the Bureau of Prisons, and it is one of 6 medical centers that the Bureau runs for their patients who need medical care. So we had a hospital. We had a Joint Commission accredited hospital within a 2,300 person prison. And you saw all types of conditions. I worked there in the 80s when the AIDS epidemic first became a big thing and people were wondering what we were dealing with. And we had Haitians. We were holding illegal immigrants who were Haitians, and we realized that that's what they had. We didn't know what it was, but finally, with the help of
You had a lot of high-profile prisoners that
we did.
That you were caring for.
We did. It was an interesting place. But you know, even then, we even saw in the Bureau that our population was aging. That 200,000 in the Bureau of Prisons, 200,000 at any one time. And they are aging, and they've had to change the way they offer services, the way they treat their patients. We do less acute care and more chronic care. And that's what this particular county appears to going to be facing. More and more healthcare dollars are going to be used for chronic care, and we've got to take this over 65 population and teach them what they can do to change their behavior to help themselves. And like I say, we can all do that, and anything you can think
Every little bit
of.
else, family to family, too.
Family to family. We could do a task force with some nurses who are accustomed to elderly care. Whatever you all deem appropriate, I would be glad to help with.
I noticed since we built a new senior center out here, what, about 10 years ago, 10 years ago, the amount of seniors involved there have really increased a lot. We have averaging 25 or 30, I think we're over 100 at each of the meetings usually now. So
Yeah,
it's
that's a wonderful resource.
that they actually offer some exercise classes and other things here. So that might be a good spot to start with.
I think
There are
I-
several of the private exercise or facilities that are offer the Silver Sneakers programs that they are full up out behind, across from the Parkway Baptist Church there.
But a lot of the seniors that probably would tap into may not have the funds to join those kinds of
That's
things.
not
Problem
bad.
with seniors are motivation. Now, if I knew how to motivate patients, boy, I'd have it made. I
Oh,
could
yeah.
just about cure diabetes, obesity, and several others. But that's a problem, motivation. The second thing with seniors is transportation many times. Transportation and a sense of isolation. Sometimes you have to make it a group effort. You have to kind of
Yeah.
study them up with somebody, those type of things. But I've listed things like that in my, but I do appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I got one question for you. The 6,049 seniors, you said they're over 65 years of age. Is that what you
Right.
classify as a senior?
And 29% of them reported in a poll that they had little or no exercise in the last year. And that's come from CDC, who does a countywide surveillance.
Well, thank you. Very educational.
Thank you all.
Next, I'll get you in just a second there, Barbara. I'm going to put you on the hot seat here in a minute. First, we're required to have a local government economic assistance hearing that was advertised for today. We're required to have that because we receive funds from the minerals tax money. And that money in Nelson County is used on roads. In particular, Nelson County is used on blacktopping and rock. We generally take in, about 160 to 200,000. Depends on the rock sales and the coal severance as well, or the coal impact. And so we're opening this up to the public that if anybody has any roads or any other needs. I did not receive anything in writing from the court for the matter of record, Elaine. But if anybody has any other roads that are not being addressed, that's what we need to know about today. Have not, generally the magistrates and the road department takes care of most of those needs. And all of this money is dedicated in Nelson County to the roads. No public comment being made. I'll close that meeting or hearing and move on to the next order of business. I'm going to jump around a little bit. We have a guest with us today. And, this is the last minute request for the property valuation administrator to show up. But I thank you for coming, number one. Number two, there was quite a bit of reassessment in the south end of the county, in particular District 1's district. And I've been advised that each year or when they do the assessments, I'll let Barbara give the details of it, that the assessments are usually done every 4 years or 5 years. Let me just let you do the details. But there were some pretty high percentages of increases that caused a lot of people concern. Would have probably caused me a lot of concern if I'd received an increase of 30 to 50% of the value of your home. But I'll let Barbara explain how this came down, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, Barbara.
Sure.
And I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
So if they understand here.
Yeah, you're fine.
Each year, well, let me start off. PDA office, our task is or my job duties are to assess property in the county at 100% market value. We do what's called mass appraisal. We don't do fee appraisal like you pay an appraiser to come and do your house. They do an inspection inside, outside. They go all over it, and we don't do that type of appraisal. We do mass appraisal, which means we do a whole general area at one time. We look at homes that have sold, and we take the square footage of those and the different, like they have garages or finished basements or any extras like that. We deduct those out to get to a square foot price per building, per house. So that's where we come to when we do our reassessments on mass appraisal. We will look at a one-story brick house built in '95. We will try to find other homes in that same general area that are similar in age, similar in quality, similar in style. And we look at those sales, and we don't take the highest, and we don't take the lowest. We will use a median average to apply those prices to the homes we're reassessing. Each year we do a different area. There for a few years while the economy was really bad, we did not complete reassessments like we should have because property wasn't growing in value. So while we're supposed to do them once every 4 years, some of the houses that were done this year, it's been 10 years since we have done a complete reassessment of that area. I can tell you last year we did City of Bloomfield, City of New Haven, and some in the City of Bardstown. This year, we've gotten the 31E corridor and spread out a little bit from that. We also did the Highway 62 corridor from Bloomfield, Chaplin, all the way to the Anderson County line and City of Fairfield. So, you know, it's not just the south end of the county, it's the areas that were done the longest time ago. We're looking at those first before we really get back on schedule. It does make for some large increases. You know, we don't go strictly by percentages. We don't say, okay, well, let's raise everybody 10%, because that would be easy. You could do that, you know, really, really quickly.
Yeah.
But it still is not fair, because you pay for what you've got, square footage wise, basement wise, garage wise. You had some other questions?
Yeah, I was wondering how you come up with the assessments. Like I've got 3 outbuildings, one of them's got shingle roof on them, 2 of them's got metal roof on them. Well, how do you come up with the difference?
Most of the time, if it's an outbuilding, if it's a metal building, whether it's got shingle or metal roof, it may be $15 a square foot. If it's been there 10 years or more, it might be $10 a square foot. So we try to estimate the age of that and the condition of that. Some smaller outbuildings and older may even be down to $5 a square foot. But, you know, we're estimating the size. Well, we have the measurements on those outbuildings, but we try to use, you know, documentation we have to try and figure out how old those are. And we'll use usually $15 a square foot. Sometimes if it's older, $10 a square foot.
The same on barns?
Well, if it's a metal barn, yes. Some of the older,
Wood
you know,
barn?
older wood barns, if it's a new wood barn, yes. But if it's an old tobacco barn or something like that, we don't put a lot of value into that. You know, it may not have as much value as a metal flat barn.
Can you explain to all of us and let all of Nelson County know that Nelson County Fiscal Court has nothing to do with your assessment?
Right.
I have been getting, you know, numerous phone calls.
Sure.
They think it's something we voted on.
Right.
And I said, well, hold on.
He is right, we take a lot of hits.
Well, sure.
So
No,
just explain
I'm a state office. I'm a state employee. I'm a county elected official. The fiscal court has no bearing on my office. I am governed or ruled or overseen by Department of Revenue in Frankfurt. They do studies on our assessments each year. We have to meet certain levels. So they take all of the homes that have sold and they compare the ratio of what it's assessed for what it's sold for. So those are assessment ratios, and we have to fall within narrow guidelines for them to approve our assessments each year. So it's not that I'm just, you know, raising people because I want to. It's the market that's dictating what the prices are. Now, I always want people, you know, to understand, if they have any question, call our office. It might take us, you know, we might have to take your number and call us back, but I want them to call our office if they have any questions or concerns, because we're the only ones that can help you. I know the magistrates and the judge, they do take a lot of heat for this. And it's unfortunate, it's in an election year, but every year I do this in a different area. You know, every year it hits somebody. Last year it was my own house. I was gonna say my own neighborhood. And mine went up $90,000. I thought it was assessed pretty good until we did the study and looked at what things were selling for. And my own house went up dramatically. You have to go with what the market dictates. You know, you don't have to do anything to your home to make it worth more. Just because things are selling for, you know, higher prices, that dictates what yours sells for. Scarcity of new homes makes existing homes worth more. There's lots of reasons, you know, why your
But in
assessment could
2007, 8,
go up.
9, you know, you did not do a lot of this.
Exactly.
For the reason the market was pretty sour.
Right.
And probably the state, maybe, probably the state, not we, but by not reassessing or
Right,
evaluating them that time.
Well,
All those properties that were not in distress probably gained value and you didn't. you
Right.
didn't.
Smaller portions of value.
So it hurts you when you gotta do it all at one time.
It does, it does. If I had enough employees and enough computer power, it would be wonderful to be able to do mass appraisal of the whole county every year. You'd see smaller increases, but I don't have manpower to be able to do that. So that's why, the state has allowed us to do it, over, different years, different sections over different years. I know you had a question about, like a lot on a farm, or a lot that has a mobile home on it. And I brought some information for you all too. Agricultural value on someone who owns 10 acres or more is a great thing. It allows the farmers to be able to get a discounted assessment on their ag land. If it's woodland, pasture land, crop land, we have different values ranging from $200 to $500 assessment on those ag lands.
500 is the top, right?
About 500 is the top,
Top,
yes. And then we do
correct.
add for, metal barns, things like that. An old tobacco barn or a old dairy barn, they're not gonna have the value that a newer metal multi-purpose barn would have. So some of those older barns don't have as much value. If there is a residence on a farm, we assign it a lot value, because that house and lot should not be treated any differently than any other house and lot sitting on a smaller tract of land. That way we can compare that house and lot with any other house and lot. If there is a mobile home on there, they've improved that farmland. There's septic tank, water, lights, driveway entrance. There's improvements to that farmland in order to be able to put those residences on there, whether it's another home or a mobile home. So we have to assign a value to that also for those improvements made to the farmland. So we do add that in. I know you had a question about that.
Yeah, how do you assess a mobile home? If I go to the bank tomorrow to borrow money on a 10-year mobile home, can't borrow a dime, not a dime.
We've got
So-
a cost guide that we use that figures up it's like a cost program. Figures up a new cost for that size mobile home and that condition, and then it has an appreciation schedule that goes with it. So that gives us an average cost of what a mobile home should be worth.
Yeah, but a country boy, if the bank will not loan you $1 on it, how do you put value on it? You can't
Well, it's
borrow
got,
it.
even though the bank won't loan it, that's the bank's business if they choose not to loan you, it still has value. It has value if you can rent it, or it has value just, it's like a car.
Yeah.
There's
It's the same way with outbuildings and barns. If you go to the bank and borrow money, they consider them zero value.
Right,
And
right.
borrowing, and as far as consider loanable property.
Sure.
Barbara, you might explain the process to the public if they disagree with your assessment? what they-
Yes, I was gonna say, if anybody has a disagreement, if they have any questions, if they have any concerns, I want them to call our office first. They can call and talk to somebody by phone, they can come in, they don't need to make an appointment. If they still don't like the assessment, if we found something that we've got measured wrong, or if we have something written down that's, not right, we can make corrections. If they still don't like that, they can file an appeal with the county clerk. It just takes filling out a short form, filling it, then you take it to the county clerk. We will have an appeals hearing in about a month, so that, a 3-person independent of my office, 3-person panel can decide what your house or your buildings or your property is worth. And I've encouraged people to do that, because.
How much of that do you have? Have you, does that happen every day or once a month, year?
We get very little.
We have very few that do it, and the thing is, the board can lower the value to yours, your opinion of value. They can go with the PVA's value, or they can set their own value anywhere they want. So they can even set it higher. They can set it lower. So, if people want to appeal, I encourage them to.
How long, once you receive your notice, how long do you have to appeal? And what if they miss that deadline?
The deadline this year is May 22nd, happens to be election day.
When did you send out the notices?
This election, the letters were mailed,
May the
May the
8th?
4th, no,
Fourth?
4th. We mailed them a few days ahead of time because the Monday is when most people got them.
So basically, it would be about a 2-week period of time.
It's
they got
13
them.
days though. By law, it's called inspection period. It's called open inspection period. There's 13 days in May when assessment notices are mailed. People can come in, look at anybody else's assessments. Of course, we have an open records room anyhow, where somebody can do that anyhow. But the one day following this open inspection period is when appeals can be filed. So, you know, if anybody still has any questions, I encourage them just to get a copy of the form, ask me to mail it, email it, you know.
But if you miss this deadline, though,
You cannot
expected to start
appeal.
next year.
You cannot appeal to the board. You can still come in and talk to us,
Okay.
you know, because we're fairly agreeable, you know. I mean, I know that we're not perfect. If there's things that's wrong with somebody's house, if you've got problems, issues that's not visible from the outside, you know, we want to do that. You know, if there's just water issues, so, you know, if your basement floods, we don't know that from the outside, you know, so.
Well, you know, I got one guy, his assessed value was 93.7 last year.
Uh-huh,
It went to 237, but he came in and talked to you, and it went down to 223.
So it went up over $100,000.
So how does a family, like we're getting ready to discuss this budget here in a minute,
right,
how do they add that in when they just got a letter in the mail 2 weeks ago and
Yeah.
says, oh, you got to pay $1,000 more? And they don't have it in their budget to pay.
Right,
So that's kind of where, you know.
I understand.
And then also, this assessment, does it start January 1 or does it
It's
start
for
May
this
the?
year's assessment. This
So it don't
is for
start May the
assessment.
6th or whatever.
This is the assessment that tax bills will be sent out on October 1st.
See,
They're
now,
not due till the end of the year.
see, like myself and my rental, I missed 6 months, or the first 5 months of this year, I missed it, I can't add that to it. So Keith's got to eat that. But I mean, not just Keith, there's a whole lot of people that's got rental value, and I mean, you know, I think if it's going to happen, it needs to happen around the first of the year. I'm just giving my 2 cents worth. I think there ought to be some kind of percentage put on it to where a person knows, like you said earlier, it'd be nice to just do 10%.
Right.
But have a range from 10 to 40.
But
And
we
not,
don't do percentage increases.
yeah, but how would
Blanket
somebody ever be able to budget that in?
Blanket increases. It's not fair to, if you've got somebody who's out of line, and you've got somebody who's paying right here, and you got somebody who's underassessed, if you give a blanket increase, they're still underassessed. You know,
Yeah.
it's in it.
Let's talk about this one in particular. He told us we
Yeah.
can use him as a guinea pig.
Okay.
It went over $100,000 according to what I've been told in value. That's a pretty stiff increase no matter, he must have been overlooked for the last 20 years.
He could have been, I was gonna say,
Or did he have a
if it's the one we talked.
Yeah.
That he asked.
Or did he do a
I know there's a big,
addition on his own?
is the
No.
large metal building on there?
I built that house, and it's been 25 years ago, I think. And he ain't added, he did add a garage to it.
Yeah.
And
it's
two
big-
mobile
it's a
homes.
Big metal building.
And, okay.
But that was 15, 18 years ago too.
Exactly, but we
I mean,
may
it
not-
just didn't happen
I don't know
overnight.
the particular instances of this, I've looked at it, and I spoke to him.
Right.
But I know he has a large metal building. It's not just a garage, it's a large metal barn. And then he has 3 mobile homes. So there's his house and 3 mobile home lots.
2 mobile.
2 mobile homes? Okay. Well, there's,
Wait a minute, might be 3 mobile.
Yeah.
Bart, on the card, your card, does this show the last time it was reassessed?
the computer does.
Computer
Part
does.
does.
So when you get back to office, I'll be curious on that.
Yeah. But, you know,
It's the big dramatic increase is
Yeah, it's
what
just-
people are just
It is.
concerned about.
It
It's a hard hit, you know?
I know.
I don't care if you're a millionaire, it's a hard hit.
Yeah, I understand.
Point well taken, I think.
Might be fortunate.
But, you know, the house itself may not be that much of an increase, but
Can
when
you
you
go back
start
and read
adding
the-
the other things onto it that may have been overlooked, you know, that's where it does.
Can you tell me when you're gonna go out?
Yes, sir.
Could I add to that, like, when the bill goes to the mortgage company, what ends up happening is your escrow is short on your mortgage, and then it doubles up after, because the escrow, they're not taking enough money out for the first year, and then it actually doubles up the following year, and your house payment could go up $200, $300, $400, $500 January 1st of next year.
Right. I had that same instance last year. I knew my assessment was going up. I knew the tax bill, my escrow account was gonna be short. My house payment has a place for extra payment into escrow. And I started paying extra into escrow. I know that not everybody understands that, but, I mean, that's one thing you can do to avoid the shortage.
One more question.
I mean, I think one thing people are missing here is the flip side of that is he's sitting on a pile of equity over there now. I mean, I know your taxes are going up, and that is, you know, it's a good sign of the economy, but at the same time, you know, like, for instance, we built my wife's shop 2 years ago, and we were financing it, and the appraisal came in cheaper than what the assessed value of the county was, but it was very simple to just take it up, and Ms. Tickner, she took care of that. So, you know, if it aligns with the market value, I mean, I don't understand the formula, how this can be different, but, I mean, you know, the positive side of it is you are getting sitting on.
Positive side, the property value is good, but nobody's really questioned the value that's been placed on it.
Right.
It's just the amount of increase in one particular mail out. But you've explained that, I appreciate it.
I've got some
We could dwell on this
information here
all
about
day.
farm assessments with the lot values that I was gonna give each one of you.
Okay.
So, as I say, if.
And then we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Barbara, I want to thank you for coming and explaining it to
You're welcome.
my constituents. I think you worded it very well.
Well, I understand, and I want to make sure that they need to come to me. You know, that's where we can provide some help.
That's what I like.
And
You took
really.
it off of us.
Sure. And if I can't, you know, if we still can't come to an agreement, then they can appeal it, and I have no problem with
Right.
that.
I
have
think
no
it's fair, it's
problem
fair
with
to
that,
be,
so.
I agree with you about that, I think it's fair.
They need to direct the questions to us, you know.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes,
Is there
this will
any
be it.
mechanism for, like, if someone has, like a situation like this, is there a mechanism to come and ask for some sort of extension or variance on that, or maybe some
The
sort
appeals.
of abatement?
The appeals?
The appeals will allow us 30 days. We have 30 days from the end of the inspection period until when the appeals board meets. If they want to file an appeal, that will give us another 30 days to look at the property, maybe go out and do another home and, you know, field inspection to see, you know, somebody can show us what the problems are with their home.
So on non-new construction, is there any statutory cap on any increase?
No, there is no statutory
Has that ever been talked about?
cap on assessments. There's only caps on tax
They
rates.
call them a fair market value.
Yes, the law says that all property shall be valued at 100% market value. So that's what I have to live with.
And the
I
only
have to-
exemption is 10 acres plus on ag property.
10 acres plus on agricultural properties, or churches, you know, schools, those
Yes,
kinds of
yes.
exemptions. Or if you're 65 and older, or will be 65 and older this year, or if you're on total disability and have been on it all this, you know, starting as of January 1st, then those exemptions are available too.
How much is that now?
$37,600. That's one of the good things I get to do. That's what.
But Barbara, these are statutes, these aren't.
These are
laws.
statutes, no, these are not my rules. This is a state law that I have to, you know, try to assess everything at 100% value. So,
Thank you.
that's what we
Thank you.
try to do.
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
going to move on to the next word, but
Okay.
thank you, Barbara. Next order of business would be of various appointments. Two appointments for the Nelson County Public Library Board of Trustees. These are reappointments. Bonnie Cecil and Kathleen Hertel Baker. I think I said her name.
I think that's right. A motion to approve both of these.
Thank you, Sam. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Keith Metcalf. Any discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Next will be to the Barstown Nelson County Human Rights Commission. Rob Graff has agreed to serve on that board.
I'll make a motion to approve, Rob.
Okay. Motion is made by Jeff, second by Bernard. All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? And motion will carry. Joe, we didn't get a list of that surplus equipment, did we?
Kelly's got it.
Okay. Can you go in there and get that for me, if you don't mind, and I'll move on to the next order of business, we'll come back to that. Copies, if you don't mind, Joe, for all the magistrates too. Let's go to the road department report. The first would be the county road aid agreement. Each year, the Nelson Fiscal Court enters into an agreement with the State Department of Transportation to receive gas tax money. 60% is allocated in August. 30% comes about January, if we're lucky, and the rest of us trickled out. Need fiscal court approval to enter into that agreement. If you want your gas tax money, you almost have to do that, just so you know. Motion been made by Keith Metcalf, second by Sam. All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? Motion carries. About 1.2, 1.3 million. Yeah, depends.
1.3316.
It depends on how much collections are. That's actually adjustable each year. Next, I want to report I've applied for emergency funds for the Woodlawn Road culvert failure with the state, and I'll let you know if I hear from those folks. The Commissioner of Rural Roads resigned a couple of months ago, so the Rural Roads Department is behind on any reviews, and they're going to assure me they're going to try to get them out the door as fast as we can.
In order to speed this process, can we bid the project
Yeah, you could do that.
contingent on receiving the funds?
You could do that, but you can't spend a penny.
No, I understand that, but contingent on the funds. That way, that much of, we've moved the process
Are you that
ahead
far
a couple,
along in
3
your-
weeks.
It'll be put into the work order list.
That's what I'm saying. That way, we're at least that many weeks ahead on doing that. So maybe for the next meeting.
You guys okay with that for the next meeting?
We'll have to do it this summer.
No, I'm just saying.
But in order to spend any-
where we can approve to bid
Any-
it at the next meeting.
Any state money to be spent on it will not be done until we get a contract.
Correct. I understand.
You want to make a motion to go ahead and advertise for that?
Well, I can wait till the next meeting.
Okay.
That way, he's got everything together and.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. But I just want to get it moving.
Next would be the blacktop request. I think I have one request, actually a couple of requests. One is in Jerry's district. Brad, do you have a copy of that? I can get a copy of Jerry's. And that's Murray's Run? Murray's
Yeah, I can make more
In
copies.
Fairfield?
Here's the one. And you get copies for Barnes, I know she's going to get that.
Yeah, but we're only doing
We're only doing the one section.
one section, yeah.
I'll have to clarify that. I
But,
didn't know you was going to bring Jerry's up today, sorry, Dan.
well, that's the worst road in the county probably, needs attention.
That's a matter of opinion, Judge. I can assure you.
Eric agreed.
I'll second that.
It is, I was embarrassed to drive over it the other day. But anyway, let's go to Jerry's first. Brad, you want to explain? Sorry.
Jerry's
I
down the road.
thought you had, we'd broken that down.
I did, but I didn't. It's Murray's Run, right? No.
Murray's Run, Section 3. Section 3 being from Fairfield back towards Bardstown.
Yep, it's CR 1063. A portion of that road is in Jerry's district, and a portion is in Jeff and Jerry's district. It's split. The portion we're going to pave starts on Fairfield Road, and it comes back 10,000 and...
13,000 feet.
13,000 feet. And there's 100 and something, I mean, what's the dollar?
Just go to the.
106 and 36.
This don't even get us back to how
Not
to
your
get
district,
blank.
though. You're clear.
Just,
The other section is pretty rough too.
But what we're gonna do, we'll use some of, Jerry got a little carryover and use some of this, the new year, fiscal year going forward.
How many feet are at 10,000?
it's on that, I don't have it from me now.
Times 17 feet wide.
There's a dollar amount there.
6,360.
Here it is, yeah. Section 3, which would be, again, going from Fairfield Road, coming back towards what I'll call Bardstown. 13,000 feet, 17 feet wide, it's 106,360. 106,360. That doesn't even get us all the way up to Hobbs Lane. And we just have to start doing it in sections, guys. That road is a really long road, and we just gotta start tackling it one part at a time. We try to pick the worst spot of it and not be jumping around. And so logically, we'll just come the next time, Jerry, or the new magistrates, we'll have to talk about, if they want to prioritize the next section of Creek Run. Eventually, we'll roll into where it's a split road. It's long. It's one of our longest ones we got probably.
But plan on using the remainder of your money, some of the money that I've allocated for the blacktop of the roads, and any funds that you have, we have to go in the bottom of your fund. Need a motion to approve that, Jerry? Make a motion. Motion's been made to approve, so second by Sam. Further discussion? All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? Motion carried. Next would be Bernard's list. I know you got a copy of that one.
We got District 3, he's already paving a portion of Clear Creek Drive, and he's gonna finish that out. That would get the entire road. He was supposed to have it paved this past year, just Maygo did not get to it. So that's $57,000. Lick Creek, he's done from US 62 to the end, that's $52,290. And UI Slope, that's the one where we did the bridge on, and to be honest with you, that road really needs it because of some of the damages occurred just from pure construction, guys. It just, to get those type of cranes in and stuff is huge. That's $31,500, so that would bring Bernard's total to $140,868.
Need a motion to approve? I wonder why. Motion's been made by Bernard Ice to approve, second by Jerry Hahn. Further discussion? All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry.
So then if the rest of it, because some of you guys, we've talked generally about it, you can start getting with me on roads and your ideas and inputs, and then I'll go and look and see what my ideas and inputs are.
And District 2, they've got most of everything.
I'll go through the whole list if you want me to.
We have it.
Well, you got, I'll go through it.
Okay, Brad, why don't you give us the rest of the report on the...
All right, so for the road department report for pipe work, what we've done as far as culverts, we went ahead of Maygo and did Hope Ridge, Simon Greenwell, Tom Walker, and W.T. Thompson. All those needed some culverts installed prior to they get there, so we would be clean looking when they pave it. For some grade work, we did Yates Cooney Neck shoulders. We did the entire Flats Road. We had to go down there, it was washboarded bad, potholes everywhere. Patton Road, we did shoulders. Fairmont Loop, Jerry, we went up and regraded it, put some rock on it. Tell the folks to be patient, we will come back and chip seal. We're just not into chip seal yet. Once you start chip seal, you're into it, because now you got all your equipment dirty and whatnot. We tried to let those people know that, and we are coming back. It's just we needed to really jump up there. It was in rough shape. Leonard Hall, so we spent the last 3 days working on that. What I'll call, I hope, a temporary fix, maybe longer term. We'll see how long it lasts. You know, you guys have seen the pictures, some of you have seen it. It's a huge slide, and we continue to work on it, and we've talked about some options to really fix it. You're talking $300,000. So what we did, temporary, and Keith's been up there several times, we'd done a project in Burns District one time where we hauled around a bunch of rock out, huge rock. I mean, this big. I was going to use it on Borders Lane. Salmon was too big to use on Borders. I mean, I'm talking rock this big. So we hauled it up to Leonard Hall to bridge it for the time being and top dressed it with some dense grade. We actually had to go haul some of the concrete from IMI to finish it out on that last third slide, and we're finishing. They should be done hopefully this morning with that entire project. Just bear with us. The public will keep informing us of when it slides again, because it's probably going to slide again, to be honest with you. It's just a cheap fix to keep that road open. I don't know your opinion of it, Keith, but
I think your guys did an excellent job on it. It really looks good, and let's hope it lasts as long as it can. Yeah.
sure. And you know what? We'll go back up again. If it's a cheap fix, we probably get $4,000 or $5,000 in it, and we'll go forward. Today,
Brad, I said,
yeah, I know. Today, we started on, Dean's pushed me to finish out the two bridges, Hugh Ice Loop and Higdon Loop. Today, we're on Hugh Ice Loop, finishing it out. What I mean finishing out, we had a little bit of grade work to do before we put guardrail on. Same thing here for Keith, and Keith knows we gotta do some widening and whatnot, because the bridge is twice as wide as the road that approaches it, so you gotta deal with some approaches a little bit. We had already opened those bridges up for the public, but that was a Saturday, we brought guys in to put dense grade in. Weather permitting, we'll get yours done today. Weather doesn't like it's gonna permit to let yours get done later this week. If it don't, we'll bring it on Monday and start on it. And then I'll put guardrail and we'll be done with those. We've been sending some guys out early in the mornings, bringing them in for potholes, and we actually have 2 temporary guys that Dean use to help with potholes and signs. Bush hogs, and I forgot to tell you guys last time, we had actually began bush hogging at the last meeting, I just didn't bring it up. We've already finished District 3, District 4, we're in District 5, we're headed towards Chaplin. By about the end of this week, beginning of next, we'll re-rolling over into Sam's district, District 2. And then to Keith's. And I spoke with Bernard this morning, and it's true. They probably don't believe we was even in District 3 because it's just growing so quickly. I mean, that's honestly why we're getting doing so quick too. Now it's starting to slow up a little bit. It's catching up with us. So the plan is to start boom mowing on Monday, help permitting and whatnot. We had finished up in Bernard's district. We have 2 more roads, I believe, to finish up in that. I need you guys to report to me, rule of thumb is 5 roads. Remember that old rule of thumb I want from you guys on that, and then we'll divvy it up and we'll hit you 5 and then go to the next district. Because if not, we tend to set in one area.
Yeah.
Okay, salt bids, and then I'll get into paving because you guys always like to talk about paving. They're supposed to have salt bids this past Thursday. There was a mistake in the computer system. It blocked everybody out. They only had 1 bidder, and then it got blocked out. So prices were crazy high. So we're gonna have to re-put it back in the paper for the bid to meet procurement issues. They'll rebid it, or we can do it on our own, trust me. You wanna be in the bid,
yeah.
because it lowers the price.
I've got to,
Yeah,
come in.
or give them to me and we'll put do not open and we'll just rebid it again. They apologize, right? Keiko takes care of that for us. So they totally deal with that stuff. They deal for the city of Bardstown as well. Paving, these are the ones we have, Mago has completed. Hope Ridge, Murphy Lane, Campground Road, and this is since last court meeting. Hope Ridge, Murphy Lane, Campground Road, Marks Lane, Poplar Wood, Ed Powell, Laurel, Newton Valley, got done yesterday according to Mike Rogers. Today they're on Simon Greenville, headed towards W.T. Thompson until the weather catches up with them. And then they got some state work they're going to do.
I met them this morning going down the road.
Right. Sam, you actually still have Briarcliff. We did approve that on a PO I looked this morning after you left. And then you have some state money, flex funds. Dean mentioned it.
I've got a contract on it.
Yes. So for Hutchins, Hilton, and Nazareth Road, due to Dean's, he talked about the secretary had resigned.
The commissioner of rural roads.
He resigned, asked to leave, I won't even
About 2 or 3
ask.
months ago. And it took them about several weeks to replace it.
So that paperwork has been delayed, so once that gets released.
And typically, you wouldn't have that, those flex funds anyway, probably
Correct.
after July anyway, probably.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's normally fall.
A lot of blacktopping going on, weather's been good. Actually, the asphalt paving looks great, I don't know what you guys have been.
Kentucky 49, Loretta Road, they clipped back the shoulders, the grass off the shoulders, off the edges, and it's supposed to be paved one day this week, weather.
Well, weather permitted, I think with the weather coming in tomorrow.
Especially that bad area, they fixed it, anybody's been out Loretta Road where you go up towards the river bridge and all through there, where they cut out the ditches on the safety project a few years, well, last year.
It's correct, it's really good, I've seen that.
Now, that's a state road, we have no control over that, I always let public know, we get a lot of phone calls about state work. We have no control over state work.
605 is supposed to be done this summer too.
Yep. So, if you guys got anything, again, start getting with me on this year's list.
Okay, as a fiscal court order, you guys, I believe, got a copy of this,
Yes.
a change of speed limit requires fiscal court approval to change the speed limit on a road. And it's a recommendation that I myself and Magistrate Lear are making to the fiscal court as a matter of public safety due to the density of new homes along Deepsville Loop. It is hereby requested the order to state to set the speed limit in Deepsville Loop at 25 miles per hour and post accordingly. Basically, what's happened, part of the old road that used to go toward the Bernheim has been grown up over the years. It's basically a subdivision within a loop. And a lot of heavy trucks are coming through there hauling slop and other things. We're trying to just slow down the speed a little bit. I don't think it'll help 100%, but I think it would be a first step to try to control the speed there. Need a motion to approve the order.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Second by Sam. All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? Motion carried. Now that needs to go in the, I'll sign it here. It currently was 35, just for the record.
Yeah, it's currently 35. This thing will slow down. Not my rate.
And we'll, Jeff, I'll try to get the sheriff. Sheriff, I'll get with you, maybe set up some patrol out that way too, if you don't mind. Let's go back to, Brad, if that's the rest of your report, and go back to the surplus property equipment. Joe had passed out some surplus equipment from the sheriff's office and the ambulance. Also with that, I want to add the timber that was removed from the Higdon Loop Bridge. And I'll declare all those surplus and advertise accordingly.
Do we have anything down your shop, Brad?
We couldn't, Lee couldn't, because Lee's still kind of putting his hands on everything, so.
Not right now.
Need a motion to declare these surplus and advertise.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Jeff, second. Burners?
Yes.
All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. Okay.
Is this Explorer the one that we've spent $100 grand on over the last few years?
Yeah.
That's the one you started out with, Mike?
Is that the blue?
Jerry Harden.
Okay. Yeah.
And 2007.
We won't even get a 5% back on that, dude.
It's got a lot of miles on it though.
It's got a lot of money under it too.
Landfill solid waste report.
Okay. Got finished up with Bulk Yard pickup, I guess about 2 weeks ago, but we left landfill open for free passes the last couple of weeks, so we added about 1,200 cubic yards to the totals. So to wrap everything up for the year, cubic yards was 6,341, tons was 1,395, tires were approximate 6,385 for a total cost. That's not including the tire removal cost, $53,174. Next, moving on to tire removal. So basically by permit, we're only allowed to have 10,000 tires at the landfill. So basically we have to get those hauled off, and we have to get those hauled off by a special, basically a tire removal company. The past several years we've used Liberty Tire and Recycling for a price. They load basically a semi-load for $1,850, and that's what we've used, and we've spent around $12,000 to $14,000 the past several years, and I expect to spend the same amount, so I'd like to get approval to use Liberty Tire. We did call around to get other pricing, and they're still the cheapest to get that hauled off.
And
So-
they have to be an approved vendor. It can't be somebody just taking.
They can't be-
it. They got, the state is very particular about that.
Yep,
Haven't heard anything from the state about an amnesty plan yet.
not yet.
How long do you have to wait to start?
To get these hauled off,
ASAP.
ASAP. He made a note in our last inspection to,
Is on the inspection.
Well, like Sam, if
You
you
get
wait
rid
a
of-
little longer, maybe you do something.
we could, we wouldn't be this year, so it would be next year, and we can't help them. If we don't do it, the state's gonna make
What
them
you
do it.
call a notice of violation.
How many tires do you get on an 18 load? Do you have any kind
It's around 18 to 20 tons. I don't know the exact amount of tires, but it's unique. Our stockpile tire pile is pretty big.
Motion to approve by Bernard Ice, is there second by Jerry Klein. All approve, say aye. Disapprove, the motion will carry.
Okay.
That it?
That's everything with the landfill. The next one I mentioned, we're finishing basically up with the structural repairs to the brick portion of it. So next, I guess we got options what to do next. I would suggest basically doing a 2-story addition like we discussed before. So basically that would be the foundation. One good thing about if we use the same footprint, the concrete footers that are there will just pull right back on those existing footings. and build up from there. So it'd be the foundations, framing, roofing, siding, windows and doors, painting, basically everything on the outside. That wouldn't be the inside finishes, that wouldn't be flooring, drywall, and painting. So a total estimate to get that portion done would be $43,000 to get that done, for a total of $97,000 what we would spend so far. We got $124,000 insurance money, so we wouldn't quite spend that, so then we can regroup, see where we're at, see if we want to spend any more on it. That way it'll seal up the building. We would tie this addition to what we have, be able to shingle the back of it to get that stuff done, get it dried in, it'll look good on the outside, and then we can regroup, sit down and see what we want.
The only thing on phase 2, would there be some preliminary plumbing?
Yeah, preliminary plumbing. So basically, the plans that I have drawn up, I sent those out last week. We would put basically 1.5 baths, a half bath downstairs and a bath upstairs. So there'd be some preliminary plumbing, basically running sewer into the house, but.
Because your main house doesn't have, back in the day, didn't
Yeah,
have.
doesn't have plumbing in the main house.
There's really nowhere to put a restroom without getting into your other.
And that's one of the big benefits of doing the addition. Basically, you have stairs, you have steep stairs, you don't have plumbing in the new house, so basically it would complement and benefit you a
I'd
lot.
recommend moving on to the second phase of this project, for phase 4.
I'll second the motion.
You make a motion.
I'll make a motion to go on the drive in.
Second by Jeff Lear. Further discussion? All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? Motion carried. Thanks, John, for your efforts on that.
Yeah. Good job.
It's looking good up there. Yeah. Patience, right, John?
That's right.
Is that city sewer?
Yes.
I didn't know if that part was or not.
Not subdivision, right?
There's subdivision.
They had to go through us, not very, well, Jim was still there.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
On down by the
Yeah, that's it.
No, it's up there by that building. They had to come over on us with some clean out. Right, yeah, I just seen it. I was out there day before yesterday.
I trust you.
It's, where the building's at, where that new building, or the old building, old house, it's over to the right, almost to the line of that subdivision that's right there.
Okay.
There's a manhole or something.
Yeah, but the big sewer project was down on the.
Yes, I remember it,
Yeah, went
yeah.
from Boone.
By Whitman Church,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Recreation report.
Soccer's wrapping up, they'll be finished this week, so kind of alleviate some traffic out there. Soccer people, just be patient with us, we're having some septic issues. We'll have the bathrooms back open for the weekend. We're hoping to finish that out today. Everything was backing up, so we've got it opened up. Myself and Brian Booner working on that. We worked on that all day yesterday, and we're working on it today. Hopefully have the bathrooms back open tonight. We had some complaints about the bathrooms, but the septic issues kind of.
We just had that pumped out last year.
Well, it's not smart to plant trees close to lateral lines.
Especially not over the lateral.
Right over top of it. So the roots have grown into the pipe, so we're in the process of taking care of that.
Can you get a couple of porta johns if they don't get back open?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If we don't have it open, I told them, we have one up there and we have the one down in the lower parking lot. If we have to, if we can't get it back open, if we run into more problems, we'll make sure that we have adequate porta johns for this weekend because it finishes up their tournament. There's quite a few games.
And dare say we opened up the baseball bathrooms.
They're already open. They stay open 24/7.
I want to thank you all for rescheduling the games to where it's not so crowded out there. I understand you had some rainouts and all that, but when you got them little kids playing, like me and you did, there's 4 cars to an average kid out there. There's 11 kids on each team. That's a lot of cars.
Yeah.
And now they, kind of got caught up a little bit. But Judge and I was talking this morning, maybe next year if that happens, since the football fields ain't used right now, if we can move a couple of them smaller teams down there.
Well,
that parking was nobody in it.
Yeah.
The field was
The plan is we, in the soccer side, we had a new person that took over scheduling, and she trying to get her feet wet when she planned every game on possible on that field with our rainouts. So what the plan is next year is we'll play like 3 games over there. We'll play U6 and 2 U8s, and then we'll rotate, and then we'll just play on 2 fields.
You have to keep it on.
And then that way we can rotate, and then
Well, the last 2
it
weeks-
alleviates for traffic flow too.
The last 2 weeks have worked really well. I've been out there taking pictures, counting spots,
Sending text to me.
Send them to the judge. But thank y'all.
He don't answer my questions. Now, how many parking spots are there by football? He don't want to answer the questions. There's
How many of
150
y'all in
of
here
them.
can walk 3 miles?
You can't count it.
EMS report.
You have the April report for EMS numbers, 589 calls responded to, 112 of those non-transport. Fiscal year total, 5,852 calls. Another item of interest for the court and public, Saturday we participated, EMS and other emergency agencies participated in a mock drill for Flagey Hospital. The scenario was a rolling meth lab and an injury accident. In this particular scenario, the hospital wanted to exercise their ability of their staff to recognize contaminated patients that may come in a private vehicle. So the two meth lab patients actually arrived in a private vehicle. Someone picked them up, and Flagey was, with Bardstown Fire Department's help, was able to exercise their decontamination equipment that they rarely ever use. So lasted about 3 hours, had a good turnout for it, and a good training exercise for them. On emergency management side, update on weather sirens. Bloomfield City Park weather siren has been changed out. That project's complete. Chaplain weather siren has been moved and changed out. Project complete. We built Nazareth pole. We built equipment on the pole yesterday. Salt River has set that pole maybe sometime this week. And we're working at Boston Fire Department today for a change out. Salt River is down there as we speak, helping with that project. So that completes my report.
Thank you, Bill. TL report, Dorcas?
Okay, today we have a total of 166 inmates. We have 4 in Hardin County, 1 on home incarceration. We have 52 state inmates. We have 2 serving weekends, so we have an in-house total of 159. Now, some of these that are here now are here from other counties to go to court, circuit court on Thursday. So once they're done in circuit, they'll be returned to the other counties. So it'll go down some. For the month of April, on controlled intake, we averaged 23 a day. Class Ds, we averaged 27 a day. For Nelson County inmates, we averaged 94 a day. So the overall total for April, we averaged 145 inmates a day. New arrests and releases for April. The arrivals, we had 158 males, 56 females, so that's a total of 214. Releases, we had 140 males, 53 females, so that's a total of 193 for the month of April. Sentenced inmates in district court, we have 2 that sentenced to jail. We have 1 serving a weekend. We have 29 waiting to go to court. Now, some of these has already been for their pretrial, their arraignments, they're waiting to be turned over to circuit court. HIP, that's home incarceration, we have 1. Work release, we have 1. This is all out of district court. Sentencing state sentence, we have 22 controlled intakes, we have 30 Class Ds. Of course, I said 4 in Hardin County. They're it's a courtesy hold for us. Community service, we have 6 that's doing our community service right now in-house. We don't have any on work release. We don't have any that's sentenced to jail. In circuit, we have 1 in drug court. So waiting to go to court out of circuit court, we have 67. So we have a total of 96 that has not been final sentenced yet. That's both district and circuit.
90, say if we took that 96 then off of that total,
Good sentence, we'd be fine.
we'd be manageable with it.
Our biggest problem is females. We have females to get released, they'll bring, if 1 gets released, they bring 3.
Dorcas and I talked before the court meeting about asking the state again to, anytime we have a state prisoner in Nelson County, to ask them to ship them to another county if they're a state prisoner. But trouble is, the beds are few and far between. Is Oldham County, have they started taking people? I know they started, but...
Yeah, they've already started.
But I understand they
got mostly what they've got right now are federal inmates.
see, their federal inmates are paying them more money, so they don't want the state inmates.
And I sent a request in for DLC to move 10 state females, but the 10, their classification or their background is a high risk. None of the other jails will take them, and they can't make them take them. That's exactly what they do.
Okay, so if you have, we have prisoners, Matthew might be able to answer this, maybe not today, but look it up. If we go down to the jail and says, and tell the state, we do not want any more state prisoners in our jail until which time that we can manage them, the overflow properly, as a matter of public safety. Can we refuse those state prisoners from this point forward?
Now, what I've been told, we're a full-service jail.
That's what I'm saying.
Question, yeah.
We're classified as a full-service.
Oh, I understand that. Well, you'll still have state prisoners.
Yes, yes. If you're a full-service, once you're a full-service jail, then you have to hire, you have to have state.
Yeah, but if it comes to a point of public safety.
Exactly. I know what you're saying.
We need to sit down and talk about that with the state officials.
After I sent the request in to move the females, I also sent a request in to move about 15 to 20 males.
Because we're getting the blame for
Exactly.
all the little things that happen that we can't sometimes control. No matter how good you are. You understand what I'm saying out there? I mean, just things are going to happen when you take a classroom of kids. You got a classroom built for 50 kids, and you throw another 70% on top of that. You're going to have problems. You're not going to be able to manage it.
And even with our males, we've got several that have not been classified yet. I sent a request in to also move those.
We'll work on that, Dorcas. Thank you.
Can I have a question, Dorcas? Why are we classified as a full-service jail? Like you just said, is that
We're
just...
not a life safety. Life safety only holds them, certain
Short term.
period.
Short term.
Short term, we're not closed.
Does the state give you that title, or?
Yeah,
how did
the state does.
Okay,
When it was built to operate as a full-service jail.
okay. I was just curious.
And even the counties that don't have a jail still have to have a jailer.
Right.
They're paid quite a bit differently, and they work with usually like Marion County, Washington County are together, I believe, aren't they, Dorcas?
Marion and Washington's together. Anderson houses theirs in Shelby County. Fiscal County also houses in Shelby.
Okay, thank you. The magistrates were passed out, moving on to older new business, you were passed out several zoning requests. Please review those. If you have any concerns or want to address this at our next court meeting, let us know.
Didn't I get them?
You didn't get it in your mailbox?
No.
It's,
Nothing.
last month? You got some last month?
Last week.
So you didn't get this Silly Vito 3.24 acres?
Yeah, so it was in
Yes,
there.
that was 2 weeks ago.
That just happened last month's meeting. Yeah, I got this April 26th. Yeah. But I want to make sure you review them.
Yes.
I don't want to make sure that we missed anything. So I said, just review them and let me know if you have any. We do get a little off cycle now since we're not on our other pattern. The other thing I want to discuss is maybe Brad give us an amphitheater report.
Okay. So, we're involved in trying to get it open for the season. I think you guys understand that. For the public, the fiscal court, and the city of Bardstown has worked together to get this project moving forward. The first step was get them open for the season. While I was sitting here today, Dean, I've got the email that gives us what's called a certificate of occupancy. So we're back in. We can have stuff there.
For media, that's important.
That's very important.
We've been working on that since December 21st.
Yeah. Graduation Sunday up there. So you talked about making a lot of phone calls over the past week, begging and pleading. I'll give this much. The inspectors we had were very helpful. One of them's actually from Nelson County. He's an electrical inspector. They were helpful, insightful. We had a lot of people donating materials, donating time to get us to where we're at now. That just gets us through this season, and it's very specific in what they've given us as their certificate of occupancy. Once the season's done, the place is shut back down again. So we've been working, there's a whole group, John, myself, the judge, all kinds of people working behind the scenes to get a project bid out for the fall. As soon as the season's over, the stage area is coming out. The concrete's coming out. There's all kinds of work to be done down there to rebuild it back by the following season. You'll see in tomorrow's paper, there'll be an ad to go out for bids on it. We just got everything drawn up, the specifications, why not done yesterday at noon. And what you will see from the audience is going to be the same. That is the intent of it. But really what you're going to have is pre-engineered metal buildings down there that'll last 40, 50, 60 years instead of wood that's going to want to rot, that's going to decay, which were some of the issues that we had down there now. And it'll be more useful for what they need. We can close it in a little better. That place just needed a lot of love that it hadn't gotten over the years. Now I can tell you, it's going to be costly. There will need to be fundraising activities.
Mayor and I are in charge of that.
Yep, I've been told more than once, quit worrying about the money. And so that it'll get figured out. I cannot explain how much John's worked on it. We actually brought Jim Lameau in to help as a private contractor through the drama.
Drama's paying directly.
Jeff Mills has donated his time as an electrical engineer. We've had Salt River involved. I mean, there's a ton of people that have donated their time and efforts and talents to get us where we're at today. We had an architect that had to get involved. They did this project for probably 20% of what you should charge for something like this. So we're getting there. Big thing is today we got our CO, so we're back in. They can have their season. Next big step, and it will be a tight time frame. I mean, the county's gonna be doing some work down there. The city's offered to do some work as far as new sewer. There's a drain down there, 36 inches big, we gotta reinstall. It is complicated, so we're working that way.
You didn't use that word complicated when our committee meeting. I didn't hear that.
I was told this is gonna happen, so it's happened. And we're open for the 60 seat, and that's the first step.
Yeah, great job for everybody that's participated. The wisdom of, of having a lot of people around the table that know what they're doing. We had 6 engineers, 5 or 6 engineers around the table at one time.
One who's got anything done.
That's way too many.
I'm talking about professional engineers, not jackling engineers like me. But it was a good project, and media, please make sure the public knows that we've got our CO for it. I think that's a headline of this court meeting today to me.
And that's already been forwarded. You're all sitting here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, 2018-19 budget. We're going to do a review, and we're going to ask if we could, once we do the review, to take another 2 weeks to get some more numbers. We'll have some a little bit more accurate numbers on a few items. All revenue, it won't be, if they're expenses, they'll be, if we find other expenditures, we'll let you know, obviously, about it. But I think we'll have a better handle on some revenue predictions, and that'll be encouraging. I'll just put it that way. When I passed out the budget last year, I highlighted last couple of meetings ago, I highlighted the general big ticket items I would use. My old boss used to use those big ticket item words. The roof and the retuck point of this building, the chiller at the Justice Center, the possible chiller at the Civic Center, those are all replacement. 2 new deputy cars, an increase in the cost of the county attorney's office. Road department will get some pickups. Dump truck, could use a little more blacktop money. You notice I skipped back, I went back, but I figured I could get a comment about it. And then the slides, we put some money in the slide. We can always do an amendment if we fortunate enough to get a second series of that. The jail increased cost, we've added some more money to the jail. In particular, additional funds to operate the jail for salaries and so forth, Dorcas. EMS, the budget based on a rate increase, and we'll be doing that rate increase here probably the next court meeting or thereafter. I'm open for comments from the magistrates. Go around the room, anybody take your pick. Keith's red pens just about run out over here. Thank goodness the PDA thing come up today, and I got him off of the budget.
Yeah, lowered my blood pressure a little bit, maybe.
Jeff, you had some
I
comments?
did. I just pushed it to somebody else.
I've done an extensive review like to, but I think it's pretty conservative. just point out that the big ticket item for the courthouse, we're looking at bonding some money, correct?
A short term, probably 5 years or less.
What, we got zero debt, basically, so I don't have any problem with that. I would like to see some more end-of-year numbers. I believe your revenue predictions are pretty low.
We know that. And that's why we want to wait 2 more weeks.
Right. Which I don't, not being critical.
No,
I mean,
it's a point. Yeah, we're probably, on the general fund, we're probably 300,000 or so. We'll have to be able to, at least 200 to maybe up to 400.
Yeah, I would say that's.
I'm trying to be conservative.
Higher end would be more.
Mr. Conservative, I'm trying to be conservative.
Well, there's a difference in being conservative and having some numbers that are out realistic. How about that?
Well,
Don, I think it'll be positive on the revenue side.
you look, remember, I'm looking at each other, because we're always trying to guess each other at that. We put a number together, we write it down, who's going to be the closest.
Yeah, I know it's hard to do. It's hard to predict some of these things, but just based on past performances that I think we'll have.
And I tell you, on the general fund side of it, and then my initial thought was at least maybe we might pay some on the roof in cash, but before and borrow less.
Yeah.
So, but we put the top number in just to be safe. So if we come in say $300,000 or $400,000 better, we may not borrow as much money.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the predictions on it, but
Yeah.
I would like to urge the other magistrates to consider using any of the excess funds for some blacktop money. I mean, I think everybody is, if you talk to Brad about a road, there's a lot of places that really need it. And not just cosmetic stuff, there's roads that are failing.
Okay.
That is a true need.
And I don't have any problem with the, I don't necessarily like to borrow the money, but our debt picture.
I call it a home improvement loan.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be.
That's what this is. I mean, just for those that weren't at the last court meeting, we're going to be spending about $750,000 on this building this year. Re-roofing, re-tuck pointing, some window work, and et cetera. So this is a home improvement loan.
Yeah. No, we're really fortunate compared to a lot of counties and even cities that the way our fiscal picture looks.
It took a long time to get him to understand that, didn't it?
That's pretty conservative.
Even taking the hit with the pensions that we have, it's.
Yeah, we were prepared to do the full bump run of the blow if we had to. And so that alone will give us, we like a little cushion in the cash flow, is what I call it.
Again, not being critical.
I didn't take it critical either. Yeah. Any other discussion?
Looks like we met every department's need, from the sheriff, jailer, and et cetera.
I'm trying to, yeah.
One thing on the road department, the grade all, what are we at, 13,000 hours on that piece of equipment now?
Something like that.
Give or take.
That's not a need for this budget.
I know,
think you're
but we
looking
need to
at a
look at
budget
that.
ahead of time. The judge actually had that discussion, and the discussion was, do you want to use the down payment on the dump truck or towards the grade?
I basically asked, do you want me to set aside $120 or $30, $40, $50,000 for a grade off, or do we want to go ahead and buy the dump truck? Because I have a new dump truck in
The dump truck's a need.
My response to that is, if you did that, you would never replace that dump truck.
Yeah.
It'd be 5 years
just getting
down the road.
yeah.
So let's replace a dump truck, we'll
And then,
grade off.
and then plan for the grade
I
off for
think
next
the
year.
following budget
Yeah,
is more
I agree.
appropriate.
Yeah.
I think so.
What is the new grade on?
Yeah,
About 300.
350-ish.
350s.
I think we gave 168 or 9 for that one, if I remember.
I thought it was over 200.
No, it's over 300.
I can't remember.
The new one, it's over.
We're bouncing around, where's the 2008 or 9 in it?
When we got that one?
Yeah.
It was before I came in office. Yeah.
The gray one? Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had a yellow one too. So.
Yeah.
We still got it.
Yeah.
Still got it.
Yeah.
I got a question just for
Yes, sir.
educational purposes.
Yes.
What is this?
What fund are you in?
What page?
This massive expense of $600 for a county law librarian. What
That is a statutory requirement.
Okay.
That is required to have an expense, whether you spend the money or not, for the circuit courtroom, circuit law library.
You just pick 6 out of the air?
The 6 is mandated.
Okay. All right.
There's also a mandated allocation there for Division of Forestry. A mandated amount that goes to the state.
No, it's in there.
37,
So I must have
has
missed
it
it.
gone up 30, maybe 42 by now?
Yeah, and they come in important neighborhood use down there in Hurricane Hills a couple weeks ago.
Yep. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah, but all that comes out of the general fund, those are all mandated fund. Good question there, Magistrate Lear. See if I see if I was on my toes, huh? It don't hurt.
It's a good question because you knew the answer, right?
You know, but for years of manually writing this out with a pencil, it helped to educate the judge. I got news for you. Now that she takes the fun out of it with a computer.
I got a question for John. How much is the roof? 300 some thousand on this roof? I mean, here 306,000?
Both of them combined are 605.
Yeah. Both of them together, 605.
About another 50 or 60 for windows.
And you got 750 in here for?
In the budget. And we don't mean we have to borrow.
You got windows, man.
Got expenses of 725, but borrowing 7, so it's a wash.
How much, do you have any idea on windows?
No. Not yet.
Can we somehow get some kind of idea?
At our staff meeting, we discussed that.
We discussed
If we
that.
use aluminum frame.
As politely as I can say, it's in the list of work orders today.
The amphitheater getting open was more important.
Amphitheater being done, it's important. Leonard Hall being done was.
Oh, I knew you felt it. You got off the hook when you said
Woodlawn
that.
Road being done.
Tree top.
Yes, we're working on
We're going to redo the whole building.
You can drive around the courthourse, but you can't hardly drive around Woodlawn Road. It's important to the
Brad,
guys.
you think it's time? Brad, you think it's time to adjourn?
No, I got another question. I got another question. I would like to add in here somewhere for Tyler to re-blacktop and restripe and change the parking a little bit out there at Dean Watts Park.
Ooh, blacktop, you better narrow it down or you won't have any asphalt money left.
We were talking possibly, and that was going to be one of the things I might want to look at the revenue.
We've discussed the lower parking lot.
The first main soccer parking area.
All the ones that's got the straight in.
Parking, all that.
They need to be at an angle like Walmart parking lot.
Well,
You're going to have to exit, everybody out the other way.
If you do that, you can't have.
But let's
two-way traffic.
bring it up, and you've already given me that, so bring it up to
I know, but
your board meeting too, though.
I will. I just kind of want it to be thought about in there.
There might be a better way to approach that problem than doing that. We'll see.
I'll let you go. Elaine wants to say something too.
I just want to ask if publicly at this point, we have to, have an additional election Tuesday. Poll workers, right now we're staffed, but we are so short of poll workers. And that's a good occupation for retired, a little bit very capable
The lady was here.
older folks.
Yeah,
However, I would love to see some of these high school students that are out of school, just one or two that are very, very responsible. If they would get interested, it would be a great training ground for the process.
If they're 18?
They must be 18, they must be registered, they must be registered with a party, unless we cannot find anyone else. But we are pretty light. Right now, we're staffed, but it's...
It'd be nice to have a substitute extra
We
too.
were supposed to have, yeah.
When is your
And we've
next
had a lot of illness this time.
When, in other words, if you had someone say today, when will you be able to train them?
Yes, training actually is tomorrow. We'll have 2 sessions tomorrow. The road, many things. The road department helps us immensely, and they're so great about doing it nicely. But yeah, we can get, and if I have to, I'll train them in the office.
Okay.
But yeah, we sure would.
Dorcas could probably find you a few extra people.
I don't think but thank you.
It's sometimes like you just got to have a little fun, don't you? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's
Cannot be
promote what you're trying to say. Let's promote. It's a long day. I can tell you, it's a very long day. 14 hours probably, and
At least.
Cannot be related to a candidate.
cannot be related to a candidate.
Brother, sister, close relation, like, There you go.
Motion to adjourn by Bernard Ice. Second by Jeff Lear. All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? Motion will carry. Thank you all so much. That's a long meeting.